Unexpected survivors, luckiest people in the world. Number 10. Heroic man saves young boy from oncoming train. Not all heroes wear capes, and this video is a perfect example of that. A 6-year-old was walking carelessly on the platform when they both lazily swayed too much to the side, causing the baby to fall off the edge and onto the tracks. The timing couldn't be any worse, because that's exactly when a train was about to arrive.
What? Oh, no!
The irresponsible mother attempted to get her baby back up, but it almost looked like she was doing it just for show. Just look how she's unnecessarily crawling and reaching out her hand, when she could have just easily walked closer and pulled the baby up. The train was a few seconds away now due to the mother's inadequate attempts, and it looked like the baby would not survive this. That was when an unexpected hero arrived at the scene. A rail employee named Mayor Shulk jumped into the tracks, ran towards the baby, and got him up, all while risking his own life. He managed to get himself up as well, right at the very last moment. How brave of him. But looking back at the video, it almost seems like the mother deliberately walked her baby off the edge and decided not to actually rescue her. Number 9. Parkour runner falls off high-rise roof. A run in the park is good for your health, but it can often become boring. That's why people have decided to add thrill to it by running over rooftops, walls, and obstacles, and calling it parkour. This parkour runner was filming himself running and making high jumps on the zigzag railing of a high-rise building when he almost fell to his death. Just look at how high the building is. It sends chills down your spine.
No. 1 second.
However, the athlete was clearly not one of the faint-hearted ones. He made 3 perfect jumps before slipping on his 4th attempt, which caused him to not make it to the other side. As soon as he tripped, he quickly grabbed onto a nearby wire and clung onto it for dear life until his friend came to the rescue and picked him up. If it wasn't for his quick reaction, he was as good as dead. It's hard to tell whether it was his unlucky day or just the luckiest day of his life. Number 8. 2 women fall off swing at 6,300-foot cliff. People love thrills, and that's how amusement parks make their money. However, they maintain some amount of safety standards, unlike this crazy swing here. Some Russian guy really thought it would be a good idea to make a massive swing that swings over the edge of a 6,300-foot cliff.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. No, it doesn't! Not cool at all!
The view is magnificent and all, but could have at least included a safety belt. No matter how risky, nothing will stop the ones who love thrills from riding this death swing. Just like these 2 daring women. They seem to be swinging gleefully without realizing that the wind is causing the ride to sway to the side increasingly after every round. The careless ride operated instead of stopping the swing pushes even harder with his full strength. 1 near miss, a second nearer miss, and then finally everyone's heart stops for a moment as the swing hits a pole, causing the 2 women to fall from the swing and over the ledge. Fortunately, they survived thanks to a narrow wooden deck that was installed for such an occurrence. So yes, the authorities knew full well this could happen, and still decided to not provide a safety belt. Number 7. Sheet of glass fails just beside Arab man. We feel so relieved when a bird dropping falling from the sky narrowly misses us, but this particular man from Saudi Arabia would wish that a bird poo fell on him instead of what actually did. The man was out for a stroll on a beautiful day, and walking peacefully on a sidewalk when the most unexpected and bizarre incident occurred to him. An entire sheet of glass fell on top of him, out of nowhere. The glass bounced off the keffiyeh, the square cotton scarf that all Arab men wear, and grazed right past his arms. It was his head accessory that saved his life, but only by a slim margin. If the glass fell a few inches to the left and right, he might not have survived. Even if it happened to someone else wearing nothing on their head, the chances of surviving would be close to 0. Number 6. Guy collapses building. Remember the popular game named Minecraft that we all used to play on our gaming platforms? This particular Russian guy took the game too seriously and started playing it in real life. Just as you can see, he's near a broken stone pillar of what looks like an extremely ancient building. The pillar already seemed damaged but was strong enough to hold the building up. The guy couldn't stand this and immediately knew he had to do something to ruin it. He kept poking at the stones with his bare hands, just like he would in Minecraft.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
He initially tried to remove the stones on the wall by hitting them with the extra bricks, before progressing on to throwing the bricks at the wall when he knew he was close to accomplishing his mission. He kept throwing stones, one after the other, until suddenly a loud creak was heard and the entire building collapsed immediately. The only problem was that it all happened much quicker than the guy had anticipated, which almost caused him to be squashed underneath the building. However, he was able to run away from the danger and laughed it off with his friend. Number 5. Man faints and falls off balcony. This has to be one of the worst things to happen in the worst possible place, just not at the worst possible time, which turned out to be the ultimate difference between this unfortunate man's life and death. As you can see, 3 men and a woman from India's Kerala was casually chilling on a balcony, where all of them were leaning against the railing. All of a sudden, the man wearing the red shirt seemed to silently faint. He couldn't alert anyone before unexpectedly losing consciousness as he started to fall over to the other side of the balcony, about to head straight down the building. His entire body had already tilted over when the man beside him noticed the victim. Thanks to his super sharp reflex, he was somehow able to grab onto the man's leg and bear the full weight of the fallen person with all of his strength, while the other man on the balcony came to his help. They were struggling to keep the man from falling down and called for help. Soon, more personnel arrived and the unconscious man was finally lifted back up. Although the distance to the ground wasn't much, the fact that the fainted man would have fallen straight on his head meant he could have suffered paralysis or could have even died. The man in the blue shirt was truly the victim's guardian angel. Number 4. F1 air racer almost gets hit by another plane. Sure, Formula 1 car races are all fun and exciting, but have you ever been to an air race? The immense speed of the flights and the way the professionals control their aircrafts are a sight to watch. Tom Richard, the pilot of the Formula 1 racer named Hot Stuff, was preparing to take off when his engine started becoming problematic, just seconds before the beginning of the race. He signaled to the flagman to inform him about the engine failure, who was then supposed to delay the start of the race for Richard's aircraft to be moved out of the way. Richard thought that the message was conveyed and opened up the canopy. He was sitting there waiting for the personnel to push him off the runway when he noticed the flagman running and waving his arms as if something was wrong. Just then, he noticed 2 of his competitors' flights whistle past him. Before he could process anything, another flight hit his aircraft at around 60 miles per hour. Just watch how the left wing of the other flight misses Richard's head by an inch, literally. If it was a few centimeters below, Richard's head would have been taken off to participate in the race, leaving his body behind, strapped to the airplane seat with a seatbelt. The victim only suffered a broken hand as the wing hit his left arm, which is holding up the canopy, which is much better than losing his entire head. Richard was helped out of his seat, and he hugged it out with his opponent in the end. Number 3. Hand grenade explodes on football pitch. Sports audiences can get wild beyond limits when watching their team play, and they often end up throwing all kinds of things into the pitch. In this particular football game between Iranian side Sepahan and Saudi Arabian side Al Ali, one of the craziest incidents occurred. Although neither side could find the back of the net, there were moments of explosive action. Literally! A fan really threw a live hand grenade onto the field. One of the opposition players, who thought it was some kind of debris, picked it up and threw it into the side of the pitch. Little did he know he was handling a live hand grenade. As soon as he threw it to the side, the grenade exploded, leaving the player stunned and the referees fleeing. Imagine what would have happened if the player held onto it for a bit longer, or if he hadn't noticed it. Although everyone was relieved to escape the incident without facing any harm, it looks like the number 4 is disappointed at the grenade. Notice how he goes like, "Oh, come on, man, why today? Why now in the middle of the game?" As if he encounters such explosions on a regular basis. After all, he lives in Iran. Number 2. Impatient biker nearly escapes speeding train. This Indian man from Mumbai was so impatient that he was seriously considering beating the high-speed train to get across the rail crossing. By the time he realized that he won't make it to the other side in time, it was too late. Thankfully, he had made a smart decision, finally, and got off his bike to get away from the scene ASAP. He made it just in time as his bike got smashed into pieces by the oncoming Rajdhani Express train. If the man had delayed his move by a second or two, he would have been squashed like a bug.
What'd you step on?
After the incident, he casually walks away from the scene as if nothing had happened. Even though he lost his bike, he is lucky to live another day. Hopefully, he will take this as a lesson to value patience. Number 1. Motorcyclist crashes on highway. This one has to be the narrowest escape from death you will ever see. If you've ever driven a vehicle on a rainy day, then you must know how difficult it might get to control the wheeler on the wet streets. This motorcyclist from Malaysia was a victim of the rain. He was driving in his 2-seater on a highway under a moderate amount of rain when his wheels suddenly slipped and he was thrown to the ground. He immediately looks behind to see a massive truck closing in on him at a great speed. with the Grim Reaper himself behind the steering wheel coming to collect his soul. But he wasn't going to go away so easily, and manages to jump out of the way in the nick of time. Jokes aside, it was impressive how quickly he reacted within a split second after falling off. He has to possess spidey senses based on this sharp awareness and how quick his reflexes were. The motorcyclist looked death straight in the eye and said, "No, not today." Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button if you enjoyed our video.